Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Child Care Director's Chair, where Erica Sacoscio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Child Care Director's Chair.
Hey guys, Erica Sacoscio here with another episode of the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. Today's episode is becoming the best child care boss. I want to talk about empowering your team, leadership, and growth, because I feel that's so important. I feel like there are qualities and strategies that really just make an amazing boss. And this isn't just my opinion. So many of these things you will see in Facebook group after Facebook group. You have to make sure that you understand how to effectively delegate, nurture your team to grow, fostering a positive work environment, prioritizing work-life balance, which is so important to so many teachers now, learning how to elevate your own leadership skills. And if you're a great leader, are you also equally good at management? Are you equally good at holding your team accountable? And if you're not, that's okay, because we all have areas we need to work on. And so I would say self-assess, because if you want to become the best boss ever, I know I do, this is how you do it. So these are some key things we'll talk about today. On our podcast, we try to either be reflective, we try to learn something, we try to inspire you. And so today, I'm just really being reflective and thinking about one of the things that I do in my program over the last 20, 23, 24 years on trying to be, right? Because when we set a goal, you may make it, but it also may be an evolving goal where you continually want to improve. So I would say for me, number one, delegating and growing my team. I feel like being a great boss means knowing when to effectively delegate. And that's hard for some of us. I know it was hard for me at the beginning, but it is really all about empowering your team to take on responsibilities and grow professionally. And it's funny because I delegated unknowingly. I mean, I guess some of it was knowingly, but some of it, to the level of which it happened, was not knowingly. So we just had graduation, pre-K graduation, and my team they knocked it out of the park. And I barely had to do anything. So I really appreciated that. And it really helped me be reflective and say, I was able to let that go. And that's a big deal, right? Graduation for most of us is a very big deal at our programs. And if I was able to let that go, and I really love that, I could probably let go of some of the things that I don't love as much. And it allowed me, as we often find, it allows you more time to do the things you really love, which keeps you excited about coming back to your center. Because let's face it, bosses get tired too, right? And I know you know it. You're probably saying, amen, Erica. I know we get tired too. And so it's when everybody is feeding off your energy, you needed to be positive. And to be the best boss, you have to be positive. So delegating is one way to do that, allowing other people to grow up within your ranks and allowing yourself more time to do the things you love. You also have to do that, to delegate, you also have to invest in continuous training and development. When I think about it, I really do prioritize professional growth for my team and for myself, but really for my team too. We offer regular training sessions like this weekend. This Saturday coming up, we have a woman coming in doing ABA training to help some of our students who need a little additional supports in the classroom environment or the way that we do instruction. And so she's coming in to do that. But, getting your team together to do training sessions or getting them outside of your building to workshops or seminars where they can focus on early childhood education or child development, safety protocols, leadership skills, really the gamut. Encourage your team to pursue certifications to further education in their relevant roles, but not just their relevant roles now, but where they see themselves next year or the year after. You have to really invest in their development. You have to empower your team to provide higher quality care and stay motivated in their roles. So that would be the second way that I feel like I delegate and grow my team. And the last I would say is, I know money is tight for everybody and increasing costs are through the roof, but do everything you can to really offer competitive compensation and benefits. Recognize the value of your childcare team. Without them, you can't run your business, and your school is not going to be great when you hire folks that don't care about what we're doing. So you have to offer competitive salaries and benefits. Now, I know you're probably like, Erica, there's just really no money. Listen, there are lots of grants out there. Check with your state and see what's available. You want to conduct regular reviews of your compensation packages and make sure that they align with industry standards and are reflective of the skills and experiences that your team members bring to the table. Provide additional perks such as healthcare benefits. And if you can't afford full benefits, I know I can't at this time. We do offer AFLAC, so we do have supplemental insurance in place for our team. We do offer childcare discounts. However, we're lucky right now. Our state have taken on the expense of paying for our childcare's staff, childcare, which is a win-win for them and for our program. There's also so many professional development stipends out there and paid time off. Those things really matter to your team. Right now, I would say people really value time, sometimes a little more than money. Like money they need, obviously, to be able to pay their bills and to do more than survive, right? To thrive. But pay time off is equally important to them. So make sure you can figure out a way to do that. And sometimes that pay time off could be like, you just hop in the classroom. Maybe you let them leave for 4 hours. Maybe they leave early on a Friday. You hop in the class with the kiddos. That's a win-win for everyone. One, it helps you put yourself in the shoes of your teacher. Two, you're able to get your eyes and hands and everything on the ground so you can kind of see, do they have the materials they need? What's the dynamic of the kiddos? How is their co-teacher? All those things. So think about those benefits on top of letting a teacher get out early and getting a little R&R, particularly for your staff who have children, young children. Let them leave. If their children come to your center, let them leave for a few hours, keep the kiddos at your center, and let them go get their nails done. Let them go for dinner. Let them do something super fun and pay them for their time off. So those are 3 ways that I think that as I'm reflecting on ways that we or myself have really worked on delegating and growing my team. I love to share this little quote from John Maxwell. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. And I love that. So that leads me into the second part of being the best boss ever, surrounding yourself with the right team. Because when you surround yourself with the right team, you also get to grow as a leader and you can share your passions for childcare and help set what the vision is, what the values are of the company, and they're able to follow that. So surround yourself with the right team. Well, how do you find them? Because I know everybody's having a hard time finding staff. I've been very lucky in recent months. I feel like there's some bounce back and great people are out there and they're looking for jobs now. So don't be afraid to get a little creative. So number one, I would say being reflective, what some things I do is I really think about who is my ideal team member. What is their profile? What do they look like? Before you even put that help wanted job on Indeed, take the time to clarify what the qualities would look like. What are the skills that they have? What are the values that you're looking for in your childcare team? And consider factors like experience level, education background, definitely personality traits, and also the shift that they can work. Because a lot of folks I find when they come out for interviews, they all want that 7 to 4 shift. I get it. We all want to leave early. No one wants to be the closer. Well, most people don't want to be the closer in my experience. But, have a real clear profile that will guide you in your search to make sure that you are attracting the candidates who are a great fit for your team. But I would say of all those things, definitely personality, because there are some things you can teach. Personality and work ethic is not some of them. So find the right folks. That would be number one. Number two, I would say the tip that I would give you is make sure when you're conducting interviews that you really assess what's going on. Have a really good interview process. Go beyond the resume. Forget about standard questions. Use behavioral interviewing techniques to assess how a candidate will handle specific childcare situations, right? Because we know our families, right? So ask them how good they are with solving problems. What is their approach for discipline? How do they communicate with parents and coworkers? Consider that. And then also consider conducting practical assessments, such as observing the candidate interact with the children or participating in a team activity. Engage their skills to make sure they're suitable for the role. And then I'd say the third tip in surrounding yourself with the right people is prioritizing your team culture and collaboration, because building a cohesive team is essential for providing consistent and high quality care. So look for candidates who don't only have necessary qualifications, but also demonstrate commitment to teamwork, because that is so important. And make sure you get diverse perspectives as well. I think that is really nice. I always feel like my program always ran best when I had a nice mix of folks, and some were older, some were younger, some might have been parents, some might be college students, some might even be high school students, male, female, I would just say have a wide variety and diversity in your program. So that's really important. The next thing to be the best boss ever is you really have to hone in on your leadership and management skills. It's super key. That includes setting clear expectations, providing constructive feedback, and recognizing achievements. It's about leading by example and inspiring your team to do their best. So 3 things I would say off the top of my head that really I have found help me excel is 1, leading with empathy and understanding. We know that you are loving today's episode, so we are so sorry to take a little break, but we had to tell you all about our amazing friend Adrian at thrivingchildcare.com. Adrian understands firsthand how difficult and overwhelming it can be to start a daycare and to turn it into a successful business at the same time. So she is here to help simplify the back office, your systems and your strategies, so you can show up with confidence. She can help you learn how to set up exactly what you need to run your business without the stress or confusion, so you can reclaim your precious time while building a business you love. It's her mission to teach you step by step how to take care of your child care center dream and turn it into a thriving child care business. So visit our friends over at thrivingchildcare.com and take a look at all of the amazing things they have in their shop. They have courses, they have planners, they have everything you need to make your life simple and save you time. And don't forget to let them know where you came from. Use our special promotion code. It is Child Care Podcast, all capital letters. Again, Child Care Podcast. So say hello to Adrienne. You will love all the things that she's offering on thrivingchildcare.com. Now, back to our episode. Every one of my staff will say that I am always so understanding, and I really try because they're people. And to me, that's important that I treat them as such. Also, I think that I am constantly talking about professional development and growth. I want to grow my teachers as far as I can take them. And sometimes that means I have to grow them out of the program, and that's okay too. That doesn't usually happen right away. That's something that usually cultivates over 10, 15 years. But yeah, I think, that really makes a great boss. Caring about them more than you care about yourself in some instances. So what do I mean by that? If your center is one that believes in excellence and having the very, very, very best teachers, and you've grown them through every role that they can have at your program, are you really staying true to your word if then you leave them in that spot and they become stagnant? The answer is you're not. And that doesn't make you a great boss or a leader. It makes you a little selfish. So although it's sad to see people go with lots of years of experience, if they have outgrown the opportunities that you have at your center, it's time to let them go. The last thing I would say in this category when I think about it is fostering a positive and collaborative work environment. I think great bosses really understand that you have to have a positive work environment where teamwork, collaboration thrive. You have to encourage communication, definitely respect of different viewpoints, and promote a culture of mutual support. And definitely no chatting at the water cooler. That's the worst. And that's the easiest way to kill morale. And, speaking of that, it makes me think of another John Maxwell quote. And he really does have amazing quotes. And this is not a new one. I'm sure you've heard it before. But it resonates with me. So I thought I would bring it up. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And so what that means is, leading by example, being along the side of your team, and then allowing them to continue the journey. And so with that leads me into number 4, holding your team accountable. Accountability is essential for growth. Nobody likes to have to pull people in the office, but to be a great boss, you also have to be honest and open and be constructive with your feedback. Make sure that it's helpful and not hurtful. So set clear expectations. Make sure that you define your roles and responsibilities and the expectations for each team member. Ensure that everyone understands their duties and how they contribute to the overall goals of the program. Now, of course, use SMART goals. If you're not sure what that means make sure they're specific, that they're measurable, they're achievable, they're relevant, and they're time-bound. So I'm sure most of you have heard of the SMART goal system. So use that. You also want to make sure that when you're holding your team accountable, that you also holding yourself accountable by holding regular check-ins and feedbacks. Schedule regular check-in meetings with individual team members or teams to review progress. So you can do one-on-ones. You also can do some team meetings where you bring in both the teachers, co-teachers, or the teacher and the teacher assistant, and let them talk about how they feel like things are going. Because the meetings should really be constructive and supportive and focus on both achievements and areas for improvement, and encouraging open communication where everybody feels they can ask questions and share concerns and certainly gain clarification if they're not sure about something. And when I think about other ways that you hold your team accountable, it makes me think about, well, what are the consequences and what are the rewards? So establish clear consequences for not meeting expectations and deadlines, as well as rewards for overachievers and people who really, set the bar. Consequences have to be fair and consistent. You cannot talk to one team member about being on their cell phone and then let your favorite teacher walk around the center being on their cell phone. That does not make you the best boss ever. It actually makes you a hypocrite. So make sure you're not doing that. Make sure you're not playing favorites. Make sure you're not walking around on the floor on your cell phone. Now, I know most of you probably run your business through your cell phone. And that's okay if you have to take those calls. Just don't do it on the floor, even if you're not supervising children. Again, if that's the standard that we don't use cell phones on the floor, and in most states that's a law, or a regulation, I should say, not a law, but a regulation. And regulations in my place are the law. And rewards need to recognize and celebrate achievement. So make sure you're doing this in a fair, consistent way. And I would say, as we start to get close to wrapping up, there's 2 other areas I want to talk about in terms of being the best boss ever. You have to communicate and you have to engage. You have to keep the lines of communication open at all times. Encourage feedback from your team and get ideas from your team, because you do not know everything. So when we say communication channels, right, it has to be back and forth, because communication is 2 ways. So you have to set up channels that your teams can talk with you. So it can't just be you popping out emails, right? Or newsletters. I would say emails are okay because I guess you can go back and forth with those, but like newsletters or memos, right? There's no back and forth there. It's like you said what you wanted to say and then, mic drop, and then you left the building, right? So don't do that. Check-ins you have to do on, back and forth conversation. Team meetings, back and forth conversation. Digital platforms such as your ProCare or email. And if you do newsletters, have a place where people can submit feedback or questions about what you sent out, because those channels provide opportunities for updates, sharing feedback, and addressing concerns. Also, I'm telling you right now, if you do not create a culture of openness and trust, nobody is going to talk. If you have a place where people feel like if they give a suggestion, there's going to be some retribution, they have to be able to provide suggestions without fear or without judgment. That means you have to shut up. Yep, I said it. Shut up for a minute and actively listen. And I know that wasn't a nice way to say it, but sometimes the people in the back need to hear that. You have to actively listen to what your team has to say. Acknowledge their input, and then make appropriate concessions or appropriate action when necessary. But show genuine interest in their ideas and concerns to build trust and rapport. And always use clear and concise communication, especially when you are working with new people. So an example would be, hey, you have to do professional development and you have to create a Rises account and get a Riles. and we're part of Bright Stars, and make sure you go to FEMA to do your safety training. And right, they may not know what Bright Stars is. They may not know what rises are, right? They may have moved from another state. Make sure that you are not making things overly complicated or using jargon. Talk to people at the level that they are at. And my last section I want to talk about is work-life balance and self-care. You cannot be the best boss ever if you don't care about your team's work-life balance. You have to promote self-care and prioritize their physical and mental health, because we know that a happy and healthy team is way more productive, way more committed to their work, and are able to engage with children and families and each other when they feel great. So how do you do this, right? Morale's down. How do you do this? I don't know. So a couple of things. And there's some areas I am definitely still working on. And there's some areas that in the last 6 months, I have nailed like a superstar. You want to lead by example. As a boss, you want to demonstrate a healthy work-life balance for yourself. Avoid sending emails late at night or on weekends unless it's absolutely necessary. Encourage your team to disconnect after work hours and prioritize their personal time. When employees see their leaders valuing that work-life balance, they are more likely to follow suit. And I would say I probably learned this the most from my niece, Jaleesa, who I used to talk a lot about on this show, but I haven't talked about her lately on this show. But she is the head of our HR, and she is so great at drawing lines and prioritizing her personal time. She's very productive when she gets here and will get everything done on her list before she leaves. But she just does it in such a quick, fast, productive manner. And so leading by example. So if you're here morning till night and you're coming in sick and like, what is that? You're setting that expectation. So try not to do that. And that's something that I have worked on for a long time. I am certainly gotten better with that in the last 6 months. You want to make sure that if you can provide flexible scheduling, we don't obviously have remote work options for our teachers in terms of staying home. You can't tend to the children from home, but you can offer flexible schedule. I know some centers do a 4-day work week, so that way the 5th day, the employee can do doctor's appointments, hair salons, fun days with their family, or things that you just can't do on the weekend. So if you could do that, I would absolutely do that. And then lastly, I would say encourage boundaries and time management. Encourage your employees to set clear boundaries between work and personal life. Encourage them to use techniques such as time blocking. And if you don't know what that is, I have a couple of episodes on that, but they're really, really way back in like season 1, which is crazy to believe that I think we are at like 180 episodes, and I love all of you for all tuning in so often, so frequently, and I will continue to create content for you and share the best of what I've got. So those are, my 6 areas that I really feel like as a childcare owner or director that really help you become an amazing boss. And it's, delegating, growing your team. It is, surrounding yourself with the right team and making sure that if somebody doesn't meet your culture, that they're out of there. It is, having a great leadership management style, making people be accountable, and making sure you have great communication and prioritizing work-life balance and self-care. Don't forget about yourself. So that's it for today's episode. But I do have some exciting news. First of all, thank you for staying to the end. So if you are a child care director or owner and you are ready to re-energize your team and make a big impact as you're heading into summer, I would love to come out to your center. I'm asking you, invite me to come and conduct an inspiring and engaging in-person training at your program. I will come wherever you are. So let's talk about it. You can hit me up through my email. Let's discover how focusing on the small details can lead to significant improvements in your child care center. I bring years of experience. I have such passion for transforming child care environments. So don't miss this opportunity this summer to uplift your staff and enhance your program's effectiveness. So contact me today. We'll schedule you a workshop and empower your team with the tools that they need to excel. Together, let's create an even brighter future for the children in our care. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. See you tomorrow.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Child Care Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Childcare Director's Chair.